Well, I should say, welcome to 1914, the pivotal year. Um, will we be in human history? Will we be able to rapidly take Paris and end the war quickly, or have the world spiral down into chaos? Well, we know what happened historically. It spiraled down into chaos. We're going to try to change that outcome. And so we have just to, and we're continuing. Oh, yes, and we're using the DLC, the March on Paris, and it is a divisional based DLC. That is part of the standard game. Right, okay. We started this last week and we're going to continue here. And it does look like, watched a bit of Sergeant Z-Dog's playing of ICBM, and didn't look like the world survived there much either. I guess that's all right starting point. Now, the rain is not helping our advance. That is for sure. Now, this is the new version of Strategic Command, and that now supports saying too much, aren't I? Tournament support. Okay, now was asked about blitzing through here with a bunch of cavalry, trying to come through and cut off. In a, at least as I understood it, Ardennes offensive type idea. And the cavalry here, and I'm even worried about here now that we're dug in, if we're going to be able to hold this against attacks. I think that is a good place to attack. Here, yep, get that maxed out. I want to take their horses out. Ooh, did I do that right? No, not really. Not what I wanted to have happen. Now we have a full strength unit in there. Here I want to reinforce it as best we can, which is not so much there in along the track. We need to keep along good supply lines. Here, and we need to keep well entrenched. See, we can see here, I can't reinforce here because supply, we can just see it's just too little. We really need to watch that. Keep that rail link open. Hey, Tony First Gen and Scooter's here. How you doing? How you guys doing? Any of these resupply right now? No. Let's see what we can do here. If we can do anything terribly useful. I'm going to withdraw you all the way back to there. He's going to come up and hit there. He's going to fall back to his entrenchments, and he's going to advance up. So he has full action points. He's going to advance up and then entrench. Rotate the trenches around. Yeah, that looks good. There we go. So now we are flanking Verdun's fortress, and Van Bishop is here. Very good. Right. Now we use the horse cavalry to make sure we have that connection for the supplies to flow along the railways. I think, though, we're going to move you because, well, let's move you to the entrenchments. Here maybe in dig new entrenchments. Always when you can with this game entrench. It can be incredibly effective, or you can just be taken out. So it's sort of a passive aggressive style of aggression. And you really only want to attack when you are going to preferably fully take out an enemy unit. Crippling them does help, but it's not, you know, it would be better to wait a turn to fully take out a unit. Okay. So we pushed up in here. Let's look at, we're basically out of MPP for this turn. Right. Okay. We're a little bit about in here. Here, okay, I think we can entrench a little. Oh, cancel. See, look at this here. We're entrenched down here, and they can attack us from all along here and here. Let me fall back to the woods here, and then entrench. There we go. I think just holding here. Is good. We're behind the river. I know we might have been able to move there, but I'm not sure whether there's anybody there or not. And it's just, again, supply. Getting too far out on the supply tether. Hey, Spiraling. How are you today? All right. Okay, now I do think we are ready to give the Entente their turn to react to us. Belgian morale falls due to the loss of Brussels. We pushed in there. Antwerp, the north. Yes, French morale falls. We get our MPP. That would have been the case. We would have been hitting this before us just for really painful time. I don't think it would have survived. And hitting it flanking its trenches is really damaging and ended up killing us. Very good AI. Very good. So they don't have more than 2 units. You can get in there and attack them. They pushed them back, which we're really pushing this time down in the south. Which I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. Yep, the 31st Division is destroyed. Right, okay. Because it does allow for us to push better here. We're gonna have to fall back, as we can see here. I think. We'll see about what we want to do there. We might be able to, no, not really kill him. That guy's just way too out there to survive. Okay, well, let's come down here where some of the choices are simpler. And they moved into there. And they didn't entrench, did they? See, no, they didn't entrench. We want to take this out. I want to take it out and not have it retreat, but it's probably going to retreat. Yes, okay. We can't get down there, but we can entrench here. Which makes the sort of spot there more useful to us. This is just a detachment. So it doesn't hit nearly as hard. There we go. See, taking the unit out is what's important here. Now this unit's attacked, so it can't entrench. And it's not entrenched, so what we're going to do is trade these out, and these guys will entrench. Alright, well, we're going to try this. We want to fully take them out. Looks like we will be able to. Hey, Pixel. Yes, counter art in the subtle map coloring in the game. Let me, and I was asked to feature this, Pixel, and good for bringing it up now. I was going to do it maybe a bit later. Okay. There's been a new update to Strategic Command World War I. One of the major things is now support for the tournaments that are going on. The current tournament of 48 players, I understand, is completely full right now, but I'm sure there'll be more in the future. And that's dealing with, I believe, the main, the main game and not this DLC. I just wanted to revisit this DLC and look at it again. That's why I'm playing it. I played several games, but we can, let me just save this here just in case I mess something up. here. Oh, no. I don't want to overwrite one of the other things. Okay. What they've added, though, officially is moved in is the mod support. Now we come here to settings. And so if you get this game and you start playing and it doesn't look like this, or you don't like this, and I really do like this. The Blue Max mod is really nice. It's loading, switching over here, and we can see what we... Okay, this is / was, whatever, the standard look and feel to the game. So this is all right. This ain't terrible, but it doesn't have too much flair. I like games with counters for this scale of games. I like the NATO symbols. I prefer the NATO symbols, I should say, because it tells me a lot with a quick glance at it. But with the added support, we can come here and okay, again to settings, mods. It's still, if you just want to do like part of the settings, it just takes a moment here to switch over. Okay, we can see now we're with the counters, you know, the more traditional counters and the other graphics for the map. And we can again come over here and mods, and I'm going to just well, we'll just select the whole thing. You can do the interface, which will give you, or you can just do the units, or just the whole mod here. So we're going to do that. So you could have, if you want to keep this interface, you can do that and have the units if you want to, because we can see here, and we're back to this interface now of sort of the World War I tank camouflage, as I think of it. But I do like that. So yeah, thanks for that prompting, Pixel. So you can do different styles. And so now there's basically 3 upgrade levels to things like infantry and artillery. These are starting out with, you know, the early red caps, and you don't see the red trousers of the French, but that's what they were wearing. And the pickle hoops, the sort of, I guess, non-metal helmets. They were made to like deflect saber blows and you know, I don't know, bayonet thrusts or something. That's sort of why they're spiked up on top, not like to ram into anything, but to sort of, something's coming down on it to deflect a bit, while keeping the helmet, if you will, light. It's cardboard's the wrong term. It's sort of like a pith helmet type thing with some metal attachments to it. Obviously, later in the war, they go to Stahl helms, and you'll see that. So you can quickly see what level of upgrades a unit has. There's no time in this scenario to have upgrades. It's just the scenario time-wise is not long enough for that. But yeah, you have very different. And for some reason, when I come back to this, though, not when I load it, you get what looks to me to be a Russian image for the Belgian forces. Otherwise, they really haven't done. Okay, that is obviously not what we want to do here. We want to push through these guys. I think this. Now I'm going to trade these out, so this way here I can now fully reinforce them. Part of the idea of why you want to fully kill a unit and not partially kill a unit. Okay, well, he's retreated back. So what we're going to do is come up here with him and take him out here, because we cannot entrench after attacking. He has the action point, so we're going to move up and entrench. Because although we might be able to hurt him, and hurt him fairly badly, we won't be able to kill the unit. Just want to make sure we get all the towns occupied. He has 3 action points, so now undo that. That would be not digging in. We don't need to be that far forward. Okay, where are we going to use our artillery next? Next. I think on our next siege of Mons is where we're going to use our artillery. Because we're going to withdraw from Mons here. So what we want to do here is operate him. And I guess come to here is about as close as we can safely get. So here now we're going to, I think just come out. They're going to end up holding our wing, but we have to rotate like that. Keep the trench line solid. And because of supply issues, can't reinforce more than we already have. And these guys have struck. And so have these. I think we'll risk this. We won't be able to entrench, but I'm hoping they won't be able to do a good job. They have supply to get to full good. These guys will help hold the supply corridor open, which is useful. We're going to take this time pausing after taking our Brussels earlier to fully send up reinforcements. You get to move up. That will be better supply setups. So now he can probably, well, I don't know how far he can retreat out of there. And I don't know how many men are going to be able to come and get here fast enough. And so here, let's see. We could make the attack here, but we're really not going to achieve anything useful. So if we're not going to achieve anything useful, cancel that, because I'm going to move into there. No point in attacking. That very much is what I find key with all of this. Really don't want to move him because I want to reinforce, reinforce, reinforce. Yeah, when attacking. And these guys, well, they have some supply here. So do these. Right. Still not going to be enough supply. So they're going to withdraw. Here. They're going to hold Verdun, it looks like, very strongly. So let's... Cavalry, good. It gives me a greater view out. We can still dig these guys in. That's the 4. Well, I'm figuring in the likelihood of being attacked here coming up. Do they have a unit here? Can they get it up to here and attack? How many could they do? One unit probably won't be a bad enough situation, so I'm going to risk pushing this deep in. Could we surround Verdun? Possibly. It is a secondary supply source, so it will stay supplied to a degree even if I completely surround it. So I have to keep that in mind. Now Sedan, 3 action points. Yeah, good thing I did that. Not charged in there. Okay, entrench. Yeah, that looks like a good entrenchment plan. Okay, these guys that can... I think back here we're going to, if we can, only one. I'm going to get to 8. Key is, do I want to attack one of these locations? I think we could move up and press into Nancy, possibly. Well, not take Nancy, but just... Well, they're coming back into here. This would probably be best, again, best to fully kill a unit. If you can. Okay, what's our air range? Alright, this is going to be the attack that counts down here. Recon them. Oh, good. Oh, good. It went down a lot easier than I thought they would. Alright. We do have more reinforcements coming. I'm thinking in here and here are my 2 areas of greatest interest. So Well. They're going to allow me to get that far in with these. Hopefully they're safe to disembark there. Now up here, don't want to be right next to where they're going to attack or be able to attack in force. And they're going to be moving into Mons. Now, I could say that I want them into Mons, when I really don't, but and it's going to take me a while to get them back out. But by coming in, especially in here is actually sort of where I do want, but I want to be able to obviously use the artillery here a little better. Now up here, yeah, move up and entrench. Well, there's 4 action points, so they can come up here and entrench as well. These guys, I think if I can get a good enough, well, 8 I guess is good enough reinforcement out of it. We're doing well enough to keep pushing forward. Okay. Let's come back down here again. Just check on making sure I'm reinforced where I can, where I should. Yeah, they struck. They're not attacking this turn. And then come up and entrench. I guess I'll just stay right where they're at. All right, well, purchasing. We don't have hardly any. Not enough to fight them. A lot of reinforcements going on this turn. But we did some good. Surprised at how well this is opened up here. I don't think the AI can remove too many units from there. Let's see where they're filling in units. Yes, thanks for following. We really do appreciate it. A lot of great... Oh, they were able to bring up. But how much can they bring up? Not much, but some. A lot of great streamers on the channel, presenting a lot of great games. Put down a garrison unit there. Oh, interesting. Okay. First Division. Okay. Well, we want it on a railway system, so we'll put it here. And the artillery, it can go. Let's also put this on the railway system to move somewhere else. Now the question is, the thoughts, is it good to even pursue this? You know, sure, if we can create a pocket in here and take all this, that would be wonderful. And this is sort of my understanding is the trap that the Germans fell into. More maybe up around in here, I believe, is that they saw what they thought was an open road to Paris and pushed for it. And by doing so, and not by continuing to push along the coast, allowed the British up into, come into here and hold. And it extended the length of their lines as opposed to keeping moving along the coast and keeping the line a bit shorter. And also, by moving along the coast early on, taking the ports that would make the supply lines longer for the British. So this does look good, and we're going to continue to exploit, but I think we really need to keep pushing up here and all along through here. Now, if we just pushed here, when we need this, we need Mons to get the rail supply moving effectively. Well, very good. So that's what happens when you deploy a unit right along the front line. It is just in a bad shape of position to deal with anything. I know he is not dug in. I do realize that, but we have this guy who we will see about moving up. Now here, let's take a quick look. Okay, they are not entrenched from the north or the south. They struck, okay. Name attack. Well, they can make it good. Always want to fully kill a unit. Now here, let's see. Yeah, we want to move along the supply lines, and we can't supply through the Dutch. And they're there. Right, very good. We'll see about that. Now down here, they've retreated back out from here, which it's going to take 3 action points, but that'll give me 1 action point to still entrench. Good. So we are entrenched. And what I'm going to do here is swap these out, which will hopefully, yes, allow me to reinforce that fully and get them up next to the front line for next turn. And the infantry unit will defend better than the cavalry unit. We're going to come up and entrench. Yeah, I think so. I don't think we're going to be hit too much from up here. Okay. If we can get this to 8 still. Yes, good. Now this to 7. It's just a slightly stronger group there. And what Spiral say? This is going to be a good strategy other than just pushing west along the entire line. Maybe do a version of the German world, hook up towards. Yes, and okay, you know, that's sort of the big question and what somebody was asking about, sort of to punch through, mass all your cavalry and punch through. The questions comes down to with this game, and a lot of it is this. Okay, and you can see the supply here. You need to be able to maintain a supply line. You need to. You don't have the motorization or the speed of moving in World War II that you have. So as you extend the line out, as you're hooking up, let's say if we push, okay, and we have to look, okay, we either have to take this fortification at Malbus, Malbach, I don't know. We have to take that, or we've got to come down and we got to look at the rails. We have to come down through here, come around through here. You got to really sort of do that, and you need to hold both the north and the south of the supply line. And I just don't quite honestly see the number of units to do so. That you can have to hold that line open, where we have a lot of concentration of force here. They are able to, with rail, get them pushed in pretty early on us, but I just don't see it. The lack of supply right in here is a critical thing through the Ardennes forest. That in 1940 and 44, the Germans were able to overcome it because of motorization, where here we don't have that luxury. We don't have the trucks to drive the ammunition to the front. They're coming on wagons through the Ardennes forest. So we do have supply through here, but we can see what happens fairly quickly here compared to pushing along the rail lines where we can keep supply. So that's sort of the real sort of question here of what's going on. And is a very real world limiting factor. So now if we can come here, these guys will move up and entrench. So we don't need to entrench along the Swiss border, so we'll do that. Right, now probably a few more units have been contained down here than I would like. But we're going to see about like killing that cavalry unit. Very good. Kill the units, not just play footsie with them. Okay, are they entrenched there? No. These guys have attacked. If these guys attack, let's... Right now, we just need to entrench. Here, what I'm going to do is that. They can come to there, they can come. They can come up here and get this guy. Better retreat to these entrenchments. We've just taken out 2 divisions. Is there a way to extend supply lines? Looks like you will have supply issues. Yes, well, okay. Moving up HQs helps the supplies. So that is how you help with the supplies. When you take it to an area, these cities determine how much sort of supply throughput, and when they are damaged, I don't know if like we can remove the map. We can see here that these have been recently taken, so they're damaged. So it means like the rail network isn't working so hot. They will get better over time. Nothing you particularly do. So yeah, cities. Yeah, as Marauders saying, cities extend supply lines. So and so it's not so much would we have the supply line to hook up through, or would the supply be able to flow? It's to be able to hold the supply line open is more my concern. You know, I can't take a couple of cores and just keep moving along the way and keep the strength, because it would peter out over time, as I see it. So it just doesn't have the speed. And I like Strategic Command World at War and Strategic Command War in Europe. But Strategic Command, at least in my opinion, does best in World War I in modeling World War I conditions. So the rail line, because you can see here, there's both road and rail. A lot of them where there's double. And that is critical. So you want to have the cities, up to, full capacity. And that is functionally how you're moving forward. And by moving this way, we're keeping these forces somewhat concentrated without extending too much lines of supply. Not that I won't or can't move further in here, but we need a point of it, which would my biggest point would be to try to create a pocket in here, and really mess with the French. But it needs something like that, as opposed to simply come to Reims or somewhere. That's just creating an ever diminishing result. Well, but the cities don't create the supplies of themselves. So unless you have a secondary supply, and I'm not sure if when you capture, I don't know that secondary supply will help the enemy. I'm ignorant on that, whether it would or not, or just helps them. Because I know if I cut off Verdun units will stay in supply, at least on the basic levels. They don't start to lose on it. So, yeah, it's so it's not a supply generation; it's a supply throughput source. So I don't know if these secondary supplies help me that I've captured. They might, and there's not, there's a few around, but not many. So this is great, but what's great about it is trying to get the enemy to respond to it and allow us to push. Like we're going to push up to here, but no, not attack. Move up and dig in. And we want to see what we can do here as well. Now that we do have some supply, hopefully this supply link through here will benefit us enough so that we can push down this way. Maybe trap these guys. Oh, damn. Oh, I didn't check that one. Well, the commanding general just made a boo-boo. That guy's had it now. Well, you're going to dig in. Next turn we will push there, hopefully successfully. I'm gonna there we go. Is that worth? That's fully resupplied or reinforced. Okay. Looks like I might be able to take this guy. That was a lousy first shot at it. Okay, good. Come here and entrench. This way? You push up here. Now, I think they'll get better supply, actually, if I move them up onto the supply lines. Here, like this. All right, so again, trying to see about pushing down, pushing up, and then, I don't know, cutting, if I cut the rails off at least to these guys here. That was a mistake. Bad mistake. Okay, here now. Couldn't move back, so that's going to be the for sure kill, so let's try to do it well. At least I think it will be a for sure kill. Alright. They've struck, yes, I know it's... Blame it on an over-exuberant unit commander. Yeah, hello, chaplain for Bacchus. Yeah, no, I just misclicked here because what's going to happen here is, since he's not entrenched, he's going to attack, and then they're going to swap out, and he's going to attack, and then he's going to attack, and they're going to swap out. He's going to get 4 attacks on that unit, and it's probably going to kill the unit. That is a problem. That is a real problem. Not what I wanted to have happen. Oh, and the rain is not helping up here. It's slowing things down. Now down here, I think to sort of keep the HQ, I just Yeah, let's try to scare the AI a little bit more and entrench you there. Now, here I've been wondering about this. Okay, it would be one. Okay, well, entrench there, and I think yeah, they're already entrenched. Hello, PS. How you doing? Um, yes, it does. Now I'm playing a DLC that's the March on Paris, which is the divisional scale. Um, German assault into the West. If you look at the grand strategic, strategic command World War One is a grand strategy game where you get to make the decisions of like production, of emphasis on what front you're going to play, focus on, how much you're going to put into air forces versus ground forces versus naval forces. You get all those grand strategy elements where this is a scenario of, the attack on the Western Front kind of thing. So, yeah, so we're doing a Schlieffen Plan esque attack here. So I'm playing this DLC. There is the grand strategy. You can see down here the mini map. It's just for the Germans, the north west front, if you will. And so but you get Austria, Russia, and all of that in the standard game for sure. So if that's what you're wanting to play, it does that. I don't know so much. Well, on the Eastern Front, I mean, entrenchment is super important in this game. And, you can look through my playthroughs of one I did of an East Front first game. And then another one was the West Front first, or priority. And so that had different outcomes to where one was, we pushed in the West a bit, but I really went heavy in for an East Front push to try to knock Russia out of the war before concentrating on the West. The other one was a sort of Schlieffen Plan, and then a push to the East. Which one do you think knocked Russia out first? The one which I attacked more heavily into the West first. I actually defeated Russia sooner. So that was interesting. The East Front first. The East Front high focus was not as, both did take Russia out, but the one I was focusing on the West, I actually did. Now maybe it was just my skill getting better for the other game, or I was putting a lot of focus on the East Front first, with Germany helping out Austria and pushing into Serbia and down in that whole front, so that various things affected the outcome. So yes, one of those long-standing questions is, would it have worked if the German High Command hadn't balked and pulled some of their forces committed to the plan? Yeah, or losing their allies makes them concede faster. Well, I don't know exactly how well any of this models all of that. That it answers the question, as it were. But in both of my grand strategy playthroughs, one isn't technically complete but we've knocked Russia out, and we pushed in hard. The other one we did win. So now, of course, I'm playing against the AI instead of against the human. So we do have that as a real potential issue. What a human would do different. We do have a production queue. It's not purely, well, it does start with a bunch of units in it that are meant to be the mobilization going on, and they show up at specific. You get to place them on the map, but they will all just be around a particular area as they were doing mobilization and whatnot to a particular location. When a unit is destroyed in this game,